What is up, everybody? In this video, we are going to talk about how to create a website in Kenya, and we are going to discuss the nitty-gritty of how to get a website, whether you are a designer or not. If you have a business, all businesses need a website, and in this video, we are going to discuss what you need to do to be able to get a good website that will work well for your business. Whether you're going to hire a designer or not, this video is for you. So let's get right into it. Okay, so let's first talk about businesses and websites. Now, in Kenya, there is quite a number of people out there who do not view the importance of having a website for their business. And the challenge with that is that you are failing to capture a market that is eagerly waiting to experience your services. And they are searching for you, and they are not finding you. They are finding other people. Your competition, essentially, online. So I'd like you to first pause this video for a moment and go to Google and try to search for your business, the name of your business, and see what comes up. So you will notice that the most likely thing that is going to come up is probably the Google Maps results showing of where your business is located, if you've gone that far. Most likely someone else, if your business is big, has registered that address for you. And that's the only thing that exists out there about your business. And if that's the only thing that you find, you definitely are in need of a website, because it means that people are looking for you, and the only thing they are finding is a Google Maps result. Now, the most important thing about having a website for your business is that it enables you to be found, and enables you to be found at any time of day or night. So if your business is running and you do not have a website, you need to learn how to get a good website. And it does not really matter whether you know how to design or not. There are a lot of people out there, including us, who can be able to do a very good job for you in creating a website that will impress your customers and bring more business to your door. Okay, so let's get into the steps of what it takes to start a website in Kenya. The first thing you need to do when creating a website, whether you know how to design or not, the first thing you need to do is to pick a domain name. Now, a domain name is the name that ends with a .com or a .co.ke. Now, that domain name is the address that any person on the internet will use to find you. I'm sure you most likely have a Facebook account, and when you're going to Facebook, the most likely thing you do most of the times is open up your browser and type facebook.com. Now, when you do .com, the facebook.com is an address, and that is the domain name that signifies where Facebook is. Now, the same for you. You need to find a domain name. If probably you're a new business that has not started, that domain name should be your business name. Actually, for both, whether you're an old business or not, the domain name should be your business name, .com or .co.ke. Now, whether it's a .com or a .co.ke will depend on the type of business you have, but essentially, you need to get a domain name, and that will be the address that your business will be found online. Now, when choosing a domain name, be careful to not have a domain name that is too long. It will be too difficult for people to type, or a domain name that is infringing on someone else's names. So for instance, if you chose a domain name of like one of your competitors and chose that to be your address, it's possible that you may be taken to court because you're using a domain name that is not yours. It's not your trademark. So essentially, if you have a business called Matthew Consulting, I would suggest that you choose matthewconsulting.com or matthewconsulting.co.ke. Now, that's the first step. So the second step is choosing a web hosting package. Now, let me explain what web hosting is. A domain name is essentially a number plate. It indicates to the person visiting that this is the address of the person you're looking for. Now, that address points somewhere, and it points to a web hosting server. Now, we've heard about IEBC servers and all of those things, and essentially it's the same thing. A server is a computer somewhere that is connected to the internet that allows anyone to be able to look through the files that are in there, depending on whether you have access or not. I've tried to simplify it. So by choosing a web host, they go together with the domain name. By choosing a web host to go together with your domain name, you will allow your website to be able to be stored somewhere. And so, for instance, if you chose MatthewConsulting.com, you would need to store Matthew Consulting website files on a web hosting server so that they can be accessed from all over the internet. And that is why you need to choose web hosting. Now, we will discuss in other videos how to choose the good web hosting, but I would suggest that you choose web hosting that will allow you to both host a website without any restrictions, but also that you'll be able to use emails, for instance. So, for instance, Matthew@MatthewConsulting.com is an email that you probably want to create, and your web hosting service provides for that as well. And so you'll need to have both. You'll need to have a good web hosting that will allow you to do both without any restrictions. One of the challenges with a number of web hosting companies is that they will restrict you in terms of the capacity that you'll have either for your website or for your emails, and you need to inquire about what restrictions exist before choosing a web hosting package for yourself. Now, let me just insert it right here that we provide unrestricted web hosting for a lot of all of your business needs, essentially. So just go to deepafrica.com and look at the packages that are there, and you will find a hosting package that basically fits the kind of business that you're running. And check it out. You probably are going to enjoy what you see right there. The next thing that you need to do when creating a website in Kenya is that you need to think of your clients. Now, think about what their needs are. Think about what they would be looking for in getting to your website. What would they hope to see when they land on your website? Do you hope that they are going to, for instance, view your products? Or do you want them to view testimonials? What is the purpose of creating this website for you? Now, once you create a proper goal, and goals can include anything from I want them to just be able to know that I exist to I want them to be able to make a full purchase on my website. Now, choosing a goal from the customer's point of view will help you in the next number of steps that you're going to take in building your website. So I'd advise you to think those steps through. Think about what their motivations will be, what kind of information they hope to find, what things that you need to do or things you'll need to say to convince them of your service or your product. Now, this will be an important factor because if your website visitors come and do not find what they are looking for, it's very easy for them to just bounce and leave. And you're essentially going to be wasting an opportunity to interact with your clients. So think about what they are looking for. What are their needs? What are they hoping to achieve? So I've taken an example. An example would be, for instance, a land selling company. For a land selling company, your website would include a number of things. So essentially, the first thing you'd probably want to include is that you want to show what land products are available, what land is available on sale. So you'd want to display the different available pieces of land, but just saying that on its own may not probably be able to convince someone who does not know you. So the next thing you need to probably add on that website is testimonials of your clients who have dealt with you, who know the kind of service that you provide, and who will be able to talk about what level of service are you able to give to them. Are you a person who is trustworthy, and so on. Now, something else you would also want to include are pictures of events that you may have had. If you've had videos, if you have videos of like times that you are giving out title deeds and events of that kind, those are videos you'd probably want to include. You may probably want to include things like other content, trying to convince this person of why you are a good person. So think about what it is they're going to require and what it is they're going to be looking for, what will be on their minds when they search. And it will help you to figure out what kind of assets you need to, you call them website assets, what kind of assets you need to have for your website to be productive and easy to use. So once you've chosen the kind of content the kind of things that your users are going to be hoping to see on your website. The next thing that you need to choose and start creating is that content itself. It's most likely that if you have been running your business for a while, that you already have a good amount of content that will be able to help your clients understand who you are and what you stand for and the kind of business that you're operating and why they should choose you as an organization. So here are a few things that you can go for. First is that you can create a list of pages in the order in which you'd want your clients to move. So for instance, you'd want them probably first to go to the home page. Number two, you'd want them to go to the About Us page. The next one, you'd want them to probably go to the land options that you have. You'd also want them to go through things like testimonials and what your clients have to say about you. So the order in which your clients, you'd want your website visitors to view your website is important because your website is a tool to sell your products to your clients, essentially. So if you create a good order, you'll basically lead them through the purchase process from the point of knowing who you are, what you do, then on to what you're selling and what your customers say about you. So once you've listed the pages that you'd want on your website, the next thing you need to do is write the actual words that you'd want your clients to have a look at, what you'd want your clients to read about you on that website. So for instance, you'd want to choose for instance, look at your homepage. What do you want them to see? What's the first thing that you want them to see? So for your homepage, homepages generally are like a guide, like the way the newspaper has small snippets about the rest of the content that is within the newspaper. So you may probably want to include specific things that usually get asked about in your line of business. So for instance, on your homepage, you'd probably want to list the land that is available, a small snippet about you, and so on and so forth. On probably like the About page, you'd want to write content explaining who you are, where you've come from, what you stand for, what are your values, and the kind of service that your clients would expect from you, and so on and so forth. So write down clearly what your clients would be expecting, the kind of content that will be on the specific pages that you gave in your initial list for what your clients would be looking for. After writing down the content of what exactly your clients will be looking for, and the pages, for each of the pages that your clients will be visiting, the next thing you probably want to do, very critical, and at times we fail a lot in this as businesses in Kenya, is get good photos. Photos describing your business. Photos describing the kind of products you have. So for instance, create, if you do not have photos, most phones like these phones are able to do a really good job at taking photos that are good, of high quality, and can be used even in our website. So start thinking about what photos describe your business effectively, and start taking them. And photos of things like events are critical because they show your interactions with your clients, if events are something that you do. Photos of your staff, for instance, either at work or posing or during company activities, would be useful for something like a career page and the About page. And when you start gathering those photos, you'll realize that there are some which are really good, some which you probably need to take again, and it's important to think about critically what photos will go where. Because photos, it says that a picture is worth 1,000 words, and so if you get a really good photo, it's going to help your business seem more legitimate than if you did not have an image to begin with. So if you do not have images of your business, what would you do? I would advise that, again, use your phone. The images from your phone may not be the most beautiful looking compared to an image taken by a professional photographer, but it's better than having nothing or poor images. One thing I would advise against very strongly is taking images out of the internet, images that do not represent your business, and just pasting them there. Images that are it's easy for someone to spot a stock image. There are people who you will see on images over and over again, and you will immediately know that this is a stock image. So before you choose a stock image, sorry, I did not describe what a stock image is. There are websites out there that provide free images that are really high quality, and that's what I mean by stock images. Now, when you have stock images on your website, and that's the only thing that you have for your website, especially if you're a business that is local, it's easy for someone to start distrusting you, that you don't seem very legit. You don't have your own images in there. Why? So it starts creating questions that are not really easy to answer. So I would advise you take your own photos. They may not look perfect, but they'll be very authentic. And one of the things that is most essential on the internet is that you look authentic. Because if you're not authentic, somebody will call you out immediately on it. So take your own photos, gather them over time. If you're thinking of building your website like 6 months from now, that's perfect, because you'll be able to collect images along the lines of your business, and it will allow you to easily thrive when you're going to start creating that website. It's going to be easy for you to make that process easy. So the final part that you need to have when building a website in Kenya is, well, building it. Now, if you're not a web designer and you are not familiar with graphic design and web design, this may be a bit of a challenging process, but that's where service providers come in. Service providers like us and other web designers out there will be able to create a website for you and for your business. Now, the challenge with engaging web designers before engaging in this process that I've just described is that the web designer will not understand essentially what you're trying to build. And they will build according to what they understand, what they know. And you may not get the result that is good for your business, but if you build your own, if you build your own content and have that content ready by the time you're giving it out to your designer, they are going to have a clear picture of what you're looking for. So here are a few things you need to consider when choosing a web designer. Number one, look at their experience. Do they know what they're talking about? Ask them for example sites that they have done. Look at their portfolio. What kinds of businesses have they built for? What kind of websites are they good at building? And look at the quality of their website. Look at how appealing their layouts are. And are the websites they've designed easy to navigate and so on. Looking at past work that has been done by a web designer is probably one of the best ways of figuring out whether a designer is going to do a good job for you or not. Now, other questions you need to ask them, for instance, is, are they going to give your work out to a third party? Now, something that happens in the industry, there are people who give out website design jobs, not to their own staff. They farm them out to another third party who is going to design the website, but you're just going to be dealing with this business. Now, the problem with that is that someone else who was not involved in the process of understanding what you want is involved in building your website. And if they do not know what they're doing, you probably are not going to get a good result. The other problem with that is that you are likely to get charged more than an ordinary business that has an in-house designer. The reason for this is that there are two groups of people, two separate parties who are looking to benefit from the paycheck that you're going to give. So that's an important question to ask and get a clear answer so that you can prevent any issues moving forward. Now, one of the final things you need to consider keenly when getting a designer to build your website is how they're going to handle your changes. Most likely, once they design your website, you are probably going to need changes. And think about what level of changes are you going to require for your website to go up. Okay, so I would want to end this video by first describing what we as Deep Africa do for our clients. First is that we help guide you through the process I've just described to you. We help you understand what kind of content that we are looking for and the kind of content that is going to rank well, that is going to help you as a business be found by your customers. And over and above being found, it's going to help them find your website useful and therefore retain you as their service providers, no matter what service you provide. So one of the things you need to consider in choosing a web designer is how long they've been working in the industry. Now, as Deep Africa, we have been in this industry for quite a while now, and we have quite a huge portfolio of sites that we've been able to build over the years, and it's been one of those things that we have done well for our clients. We've created websites in all manner of industries, and we would be able to provide you with a good amount of value based on the experience that we have. Now, you need to think about both whether the service provider is going to build your website, both whether they have the experience, that's one, and number two, whether they are actually going to help you and guide you through the things that you provide, the things that you need to provide, the things that you need to have within your website, guide you on what the best practices are. Now, there are many web designers out there who will not do that for you. We will, and that's what makes us stand out from the market. Now, let's say you do not need a web designer. Let's say you do not need us. I would still advise that go out and do the steps that I've outlined for you there. But there are a few things that you need to do on your own that we would essentially be doing for you, but here's what you need to do. You need to find a good WordPress theme. If you are familiar with WordPress, and it's not difficult, you can actually do a bit of research on the internet, and you can be at a good, competent enough level to be able to create a good, good enough website for your business. And there are a lot of videos out there that would help explain that. But the first step is finding a good theme, a theme that you'll be able to work with the kind of industry you're in, and then go right into it. Watch the videos, understand how the theme is edited, and edit it yourself. Now, you might probably encounter a number of issues in there, and it would probably take you a lot of time. So my advice would be hire somebody to do it if you have the money for it. But if you do not, I would advise that take some time, watch videos. The internet is cheaper these days. Take some time and watch a few videos and understand how these websites are built, and it will be worth it. All the same, whatever it is, you need to have a website. Whether you have a lot of money or not, there's no excuse for you not to have a website, because your customers are looking for you. And if they do not find things that you have created yourself, then it's going to be quite unfortunate, because they are most likely going to go for your competition if the competition has a good website than you do. So thank you so much for watching this. I hope that you've benefited. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. We'd really love to hear them and interact with you. Our hope is that we are going to help you, both our customers at Deep Africa and anyone else who is watching this, to be able to build an online presence for themselves. Because if you do not have a good online presence, it's detrimental, not just for you, but for everyone else in the market. Because if people don't have websites, not as many people are going to go searching for Kenyan businesses online. And that's a disadvantage for all of us. But if we all had websites, then it would allow our customers to have a much easier time to find us than actually walk into our business premises. So I advise you, go out, start a website. Tell me of the kind of websites you've built. I can give you advice. Drop them in the comments below, or just give us a call, and we can give you advice on which way to go in that regard. Thank you so much for watching this. Have a lovely day. See ya.